Okay, so yeah, I attended only probably like the first half of that meeting with the instructor. So
Oh,
I heard a little
office.
bit about the process, but I didn't get all of it. So from what I understand, starting like next week or the week after that, we can start putting in fluency requests and
Yeah,
start going.
I'm gonna try to knock some of the basic stuff out just to get out of the strongly disagree category.
Oh, that's a good idea. So it made it sound like we can create like a website, right? And then just kind of showcase stuff there and then have like a GitHub repo or something like that.
Right, that's yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so that's from what I understand. So I guess I'll just plan on creating like a little website and then try and showcase technology and go that way. I guess we don't have to do it that way, but that seems like a good way to do it.
Yeah, last quarter, I forget if it was in 313, I think it was. CS 313, they used Red Hat or OpenShift.
Okay.
Uh, to where, yeah, you do stuff on locally and then you use your local host to test it out and then you upload it to LocalShift as, so it's viewable.
Oh, okay. So I'm taking CS 3013 right now. They switched
Ah,
over to something called Heroku, which is kind of the same thing, but I don't know why they switched. But and then did you like the second half of the class? The first half I'm familiar with all the stuff, but I haven't done like the Java stuff yet.
yeah, I guess, let me see, the second half. Yeah, the first half is the PHP. And the second was you have to, with your team, basically, oh, I forget the terminology. It's tough getting old. You have to interface. Are you making an app? Let me see. What's it called? Oh, the API. That's it. You have to use API and interface with some website. We chose Facebook and creates an app store type of a presentation and have your app working. So that's the second half.
Oh, okay. Was it
Yeah.
pretty intense or
What's that?
was it pretty intense? Was it pretty hard or?
Yeah. I thought Facebook is difficult to work with
Oh, okay.
because you can't really use it on. You can't be active unless you're approved. So we have to go through this process of creating false users. And so we created 20 users and we had to, develop relationships between them. And basically we were and it was very difficult initially to just extract some basic information. And I think we ended up getting probably about 4 bits of information, like the name, your friends list, your location. I forget exactly where we go. Oh, your birth date, your male, female, your gender, declaration, if you want to call it that. So yeah, it was hard. It was hard to work with Facebook mainly.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, so that's good to know because I'll try and choose a API that's not so locked down, I guess.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah, I guess they would. I guess they have to be that way. People aren't just pulling personal information off the web or something like that. But makes sense.
Yeah, but you would think with a bunch of false users,
It'd be fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
Fine. It's just let us do what we want to do type thing. But
yeah,
no, it was very difficult. And
so
we just got done about the last 2 weeks. I mean, we had one guy. Fortunately, we had one guy that was really good on database. And,
okay.
And I'm a little bit, as far as my team effort was the HTML and the CSS, so I kind of made the store front. And
cool.
It wasn't anything spectacular, that's for sure. But
it works, right?
We all chipped in, and it worked out.
That's awesome. So do you have any questions as far as topics go from this week? You probably have. It's always hard when you get asked that question because you're like,
Yeah, I was looking at the teaching, how well we did. You kind of talked about loops and conditional statements the first week or last week.
right.
Functions and variables, and then you parameters. I don't even know what does that mean. What is that topic? Parameters.
Parameters are just like function parameters.
Oh, okay, all right. And then the only thing that's pending really is, well, do you think you covered that well enough, or
Well, let's go over it again. Yeah, I say because I went over functions, but I didn't really talk much about parameters.
Yeah.
So let me share my screen, and then we'll do some more with that.
Okay, and then I think Caitlin was going to do the instantiation for JavaScript.
Oh, okay. I haven't. I've been. It's been crazy trying to find a balance this week, so I haven't been able to check out anybody's videos yet. But I did post 2 videos. One was JavaScript arrays, and the other one was associative arrays.
Oh yeah, I saw those.
Yeah, so those are up. One might be a little confusing because it's technically not associative arrays. It's actually objects. But just watch it, and you can either be enlightened or confused, and then.
No, I watched it. It wasn't confusing. You basically said that they don't use the terminology associative arrays, but you can get the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same idea. Yeah, that was. Okay, so let's see here. Just gonna open up project. Okay, cool. Let me share my screen.
So you said that in 3.13 that they don't use OpenShift anymore?
No, they went over to Heroku. I don't know if it's because some of those things will be free for a while and then they'll like lock it down. So I haven't checked into it, but it might be one of those situations.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm glad I snuck in with OpenShift.
Yeah, it seems pretty nice. I signed up for it for something else, and it took like 2 weeks for me to actually get an account. It's kind of like, I think it's been popular, so. I'll just call this tutorial.
I need my other glasses. I got a new pair of glasses, so I don't have to double up.
Oh, nice. You're switching off. Oh, so you got the bifocal thing going on?
No, there's single vision. I don't like the progressive.
Okay, so let's see here. So we're going over params, right? So we'll do, and you'll see this and be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, the A and the B, the things in the parentheses on the parameters, right?
All right, so that's really all it is. So if I go some 5, those are your parameters. The thing to know about JavaScript is that you don't really have to put the data type. So like in Java, you have to put up here like int that.
Yeah, you have to identify them, right?
Don't have to identify. So that's the big difference there. So this could be like, it's good and bad, right? Because you could say that and it would accept it. It wouldn't throw any errors, right? Because you're just passing in an empty object, and then it's going to try and add a value of 5 to that. I don't even know what that would do. I mean,
it might give you 5.
It might, yeah. I mean, that's the thing about JavaScript, is that it's good because it's flexible and lets you do lots of different things, but it's not so great because it lets you shoot yourself in the foot if you want to, right? I mean, so one thing that's, you can do things like this, use strict, use warnings. So this will catch some of the mistakes that you could make. In this case, I think everything's valid if you put, I don't know if it would give you a warning or not. But for example, like you could say a equals 5 without declaring it as a variable, and it would accept that. If you use strict,
you don't even need the bar.
Yeah, if you use strict at the top like that, then it will yell at you. It'll say, "Hey, you haven't declared that as a variable." So I always think it's a good idea to use those.
Yeah, I remember last week you threw those up there, and I didn't have time to write them down. I had forgotten what they were.
So another good programming practice is in JavaScript, since you're including, let's see here, I think that's the right syntax. It might be like that. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So this was a weird thing I used to see, like when I first started with JavaScript, and I was like, I don't know what you're doing there. But you can do a self-executing anonymous function. So this has no name, it's just called function. And then since I call, and since I like instantiate it at the same time, this will just run. You don't really have to worry about all that. Just know that this wraps all your code in a namespace. So that means that if you included lots of different files like this, you could have all of these different files that you're working with. If you wrap it like this, that means any variable you declare in your first script will only be available for this first script, and it won't bleed over into the next ones. Does that make sense? So it gives you a local scope that you can work with, to where if you declared a variable like that and then tried to use it in script 1, you wouldn't be able to do it. So a lot of times you'll see this kind of thing going on with JavaScript libraries that you'll include. They'll wrap all their code in a self-executing anonymous function. And what that does is it just allows them to work friendly with any other library and not have to worry about their variables that they've declared bleeding into other libraries.
Oh, it isolates it?
It isolates it, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
So that's a good concept.
Let me take a screenshot of that, because I don't remember very well.
Oh, yeah.
I tend not to remember things. Not on purpose. But, you know, I mean, even when in my engineering days, I mean, the only reason I was able to succeed as a mechanical design engineer without any real training is that I did it every day.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, you have a job in this stuff, you know, so you're doing it every day. That helps greatly.
I wouldn't do this stuff if I wasn't doing it all every day, that's for sure. I mean, I basically study this stuff full time, you know, so. And even then,
you're not doing code every day?
What's that?
You don't do code?
That's what I do. Yeah, I write code, but
okay.
I mean, we have to study new stuff and figure stuff out, because it's web development, so we're always looking for new stuff and messing with it. So, so how are you feeling about JSON? Do you feel okay about that?
You know, I've used it. I've been exposed to it, but no, I'm on a whole new learning curve with that. I mean,
Okay.
I really have not done stuff with it. I've just been exposed to it.
Do you want to go over a little bit of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was doing. Let me shrink my screen here, because I have to put you on full screen in order to see your words.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of small. Let's see if I can
Let me minimize. I can't even minimize. I get stuck in Google Chrome. Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about that. I didn't even think about that.
I can never find where the Now, sometimes you can use escape, and it's not letting me escape. Jeez. And then it doesn't let me choose minimize. Darn. Well, okay, I'm stuck right now, but go ahead. You can keep talking.
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking at your screen, and now it's really big.
Yeah, let's do some. Okay, so I'll just keep all that stuff up. I'll just remove this. Did you get a screenshot?
I did, yes.
Okay, so let's see here. I'm just going to declare some JSON, and we'll just kind of mess with some stuff. So let's do person object. It's kind of my go-to example. What else did we do? We could do a university object.
Oh, there it is. Oh, finally, I found it. Okay.
All right. So let's see here. I'm going to remove some of these extra things. And I'm going to okay. What I'm doing there is I just, with the PHP installed on Mac, you can just throw up a server real quick for your local host and then use it. It's a tutorial. Let's see if I can get this all on the same screen. I'm actually gonna. Sorry, I'm fumbling around over here. Here we go. Use this instead.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to add some code here. Okay, so far I've got an object, right? So this object is called JSON.
All right.
And inside that object, I've got another object called person. And then I've also got another object called university. So from the video that I displayed, I'll kind of review that a little bit. So if I wanted to access person object, I could go like that. So now if I go back to the terminal, like this. Then refresh it. Got an object. And inside that object, I've got age 56 and name Daniel. So if we go back and check that, we want a JSON.person, and we've got name Daniel, age 56. But let's say we wanted to, instead of having to select it manually like that, let's say we want to just go through each one. Go console.log. JSON property. So what that does is I'm going through each property in the object.
So you'll get both of them this time?
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get both of them. And so yeah, so we get the first one, which is Daniel, and the second one, which is the university information. So now
it tells you it's a proto object, I saw.
Yeah, so proto means, this is a more advanced topic, but JavaScript is a object-oriented language. More specifically, it's a prototypical object-oriented language. Essentially what that means is that everything in JavaScript is an object. So if you declare a number, it's an object. If you declare a string, it's an object. Everything's an object. And every single object in JavaScript inherits from the prototype name. So that's what that proto means right there.
Right.
So you see, as I click down in there, it's got things like a constructor, has own property, is prototype of. It inherits a lot of functions that can be used and overridden for your objects. So, and that way it's really powerful. It just is kind of a weird concept to learn. So I'm going to go a little bit further. Okay. Can you guess what this is doing?
You're adding P.
Okay, so if I start here in the outer loop, the first thing that we did is we went through every object, right?
Yeah.
So now we want to be able to not just go through every object, we want to access the properties of that object as we go down. So we have to use a double for loop. And what we do is we, at this stage, have either person or university. So if we drill down one layer deeper, we can access the properties on the object that we're already on. So this is going to be person or university, but if we go one deeper and access it like this, then we can get name, age, title, and established. So let's run it. Let's see what we get.
So before you, can I see
Sure.
your console before you run it? I thought that those values were there before.
They are, but so what we actually printed there was the object itself. We didn't print name or title or age or established. Does that make sense?
No.
So your console.
I don't get it because those items are there.
Right. So it is a little bit confusing. Google is, they've built this into their console to where if it displays an object, it will show you all of the properties on that object.
Oh, that's from Google.
That's from Google. So if we do this now, we get Daniel 56, BYU Idaho 1888.
I see. Oh, okay.
So that's how that works there.
So Google grabs everything, but it's not presenting it per your code. It's unless you do it the way you've changed it now.
Right, exactly. So let me take this out. Now I won't print the object at all, and we'll just get the data.
Hmm. Oh, I see. Oh, interesting. Here, let me take a snapshot. Can you have to shrink it down notice so I can see the whole thing now. Okay, I've got lines. One more time. Okay, there we go. Let me take a snapshot of that. Okay, although I suppose it'll be available. We are recording this, so.
That's true. Yeah, but it's always good to have that. We don't have to swim through all the stuff.
Now, here, maybe you can explain this. Here's something I was researching. Oh, I can't really pass it off to you here.
Are you share your screen?
Oh, okay.
If you go to the left, there will be that toolbar that pops up, and
Right.
yeah, green screen with an arrow on it.
Right.
It shows you what screens you want to share.
Share. Okay. It says I'm sharing now. Okay, so just this on, was it Stack Overflow? What I have highlighted here, the difference between stringify and parse, which I really didn't understand. So is this a true statement? I mean, does this make sense here? What the difference between?
So
Yeah.
I'll show you.
So I mean, so basically you're going from object to string and then from string to object. That's the difference, huh?
Right, because if you think about it, whenever you're working with an API, a lot of times they will give you JSON, but it will be in a string format. So you want to actually turn it into a JavaScript object. So in that case, you would call JSON.parse. But let's say I want to stringify. Now we go like this. Let's see what we get. So you see what it did there?
Well, unfortunately, yeah. Let me see here.
It prints out a string.
Oh yeah.
Friendly version of it.
Huh. So you stringified it.
I stringified it.
Okay. Wow.
So if I do JSON.parse, so this is kind of weird to think about, but I'm first stringifying it. I turn it into a string, and then I'm going to turn it back into a JavaScript object. Obviously, you would never do this, but just to see what it does.
Right.
See, now it turns it back into a JavaScript object.
Yeah, you can shrink that down again if you want. Yeah, that's good right there.
Yeah, so the idea is that sometimes you'll receive data as JSON and you want to parse it as a string. Sometimes you receive JSON and you want to, or sometimes you'll receive a string that contains JSON and you want to parse it as a JavaScript object. So you'll run into both cases. I'm sure as we work towards the end of the semester, you'll see more of this in action.
Well, I was wondering, so when we interact with sites, like for our app, is that basically what we're doing? I mean, is that how we use JSON? Is back and forth over the internet? Is it stringifying things and sending it to us, and then we make them into objects again locally, or what?
Yeah, you're exactly right. You said it perfectly. So,
Okay.
So when you work with an API, like you did in CS 3.13, you'll receive JSON, and then you'll have to work with it in your code somehow. So if it comes as a string, you'll have to parse it as a JavaScript object, vice versa. So yeah,
Okay.
that was a perfect way to put it.
All right. Great.
I'm
I
trying to
learned
think if I can give you an example real quick. So
Sure.
let's see. This is one of the, when I first got hired as a web developer, this is a project I had to do.
I'm not seeing your script.
Here, I'll share it. Just one second. I'm just going to pull it up real quick.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if it's still. If I can find it again.
This is something you did for some project or something?
Yeah, so the Mars rover that's just kind of hanging out on Mars right now,
Yeah.
it will submit, I mean, it will, how do I say this? It collects data and then it sends it back to this API, but it's open so anybody can use it.
Oh, that's great. I think they were doing that with the telescope, the Hubble telescope, right?
Yeah, I think so. So you can do different things with it. I can't find that exact website. I'll have to, maybe on Wednesday I'll come prepared with that. But so one cool thing, so here in the command line, you can do something called curl, and you can make requests to websites and things like that. So if I do, let's see, curl, just HTTPS, let's do facebook.com. Well, no, it probably won't let us do it. So I'll do a site I built. Let's see what it says here. Oh. Let's see. So I'll do curl HTTP. So you see what it did here?
Yeah.
It's back a bunch of HTML. So what I did is I made a request to grab the source of this website, and then it returns to me HTML. But you can also do a request to receive JSON from certain sites, and it will give you back.
Really?
So let me see if I think I've got another example I can show you. So there is a site that I did some work with here that has an API. So you see here on the screen, there's the JSON format. That's an opening object, and then it's got attributes, success, it's equal to true, and all that good stuff. Total entries, total pages, those are properties. So if I do a request, let's see, there should be an example here. There we go. So if I make a request, this, oh, this is kind of small. Let me see if I can make this bigger.
Okay, yeah.
So what I'm doing here is I'm accessing the site, fish.in. They play music, so they host live music. So now I'm doing /API, which means I'm accessing their public API. Version 1, I want to retrieve songs, and 40, I believe, is like the amount I want back. And then you notice the .json here. So if I run this, it's not very pretty, but as you can see here, there's a property, success is equal to true, total entries, 1, total pages, 1. So what I've done is I've retrieved a JSON object, and then what I could do is I could write a script like what we were beginning to do here, take in the JSON, and then display it on a web page if I wanted to. So when we do Ajax in a couple weeks, or whenever we decide to do that, what that will do is it will allow you to maybe set up a button that has an event that sends a request for data, just like what I just showed you. then you can retrieve it back and display it on a web page, all without having to reload the browser. So then that becomes really powerful to be able to create web applications like that, because then you can make requests, receive data back, all in real time.
Okay, that's what our Facebook app ended up doing, but I don't remember that we necessarily used Ajax. I thought we were just, I'm trying to tell. Oh, I guess maybe we just, I mean, because we had callback, you know, we had to log in. So first it went to a login page, then it came back, and then it lets you select, you know, did you want a list of friends, or did you, you know, it let you, and then it went back again and came back with the information type stuff. But is that automatically Ajax, or?
Yeah, I believe so from what you're describing. I'd have to see it in action, but
Yeah.
well, that sounds like Ajax to me.
Okay, so I have been exposed to it without even knowing it.
Yeah, I mean, the web uses it all the time nowadays.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, like, for example, you see the site, I've got if I go to years, like I can do, well, maybe this is a bad example. Let's see here. A good example. So I made this website that just kind of like holds rankings of certain songs for this band. So you'll see here, I've got a thumbs up and a thumbs down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not logged in right now, so let me do that. So if I go back to that page, I've given it a thumbs down, but I can do a thumbs up, and that reflects that score in real time. So that actually made a request to the database and then comes back with a response.
Did you do this for a class, or did you?
No, I did this as just a personal project. I wanted to learn, there's a framework out there called Laravel, which is built from PHP, which is a model view controller type framework. So I just wanted to learn more and decided to do this project. This is something I've wanted to do, and it was kind of a good excuse to learn something new. So
Yeah. Okay.
so there's that. So anyways, maybe that would be a good stopping point.
Sure.
That way you can digest some of that, and then we can come back on Wednesday and do some more. I guess before we go, let's review what we should have ready for Wednesday.
Okay.
Do you have that spreadsheet up? I'm trying to think.
I do. Let me see where I had it. Oops, I did have it. Where was it? Yeah, our assignments, you mean?
Yes.
You want me to share my screen again?
I think I actually have it. I just found it. Yes, I found it.
You found it? Okay.
So next week looks like JSON parse stringify.
Yeah, that's why I was researching it, just to at least understand what those two terms meant.
That sounds awesome. So so should we just kind of research it and come ready for Wednesday, or should we have kind of do what we did last week and have videos ready before we meet on Wednesday?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you seemed comfortable doing it real time. I can't do that. I mean,
I think what I'll do for Wednesday, if it's okay with you, I will just kind of think of a good example so I'll write up some code before Wednesday, and then I can demonstrate it real time. So I'll have to do a little bit more digging to kind of get a working example.
Okay.
But I can do that.
And I'll probably just go online and do some research and you know, make a little video, kind of like I did with JavaScript, and bore you guys some more. But
no, that's totally fine. That sounds great to me. So I'll come ready for Wednesday, and then I'll try and reach out to Caitlin and see if she can maybe come up with it as well.
I think, and she owes us the instantiation
Okay.
I think. Okay.
Sounds good to me. Any other questions?
No, that's fine. Thanks. I like your real-time presentations.
Yeah, hopefully I don't go into, I have a tendency to want to talk about too much too quick. So if I ever do that, just let me know and I'll be sure to slow down.
That's all right. That's all right. You're doing fine. So I guess you'll post this then, huh?
Yeah, I'll try and have it, I'll post this for sure. Yeah, and I'll come ready for Wednesday.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks,
awesome.
Daniel.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
You too.